very, very good afternoon or good morning or good evening to you, wherever you're listening or watching me from. My name is Uncle Charlie, and I bring you the freshest edition this time round on Money Moves. Today, my topic is about pulling ourselves out of debt. Debt. How do you pull ourselves out of debt? Because Bank of Ghana itself recently gave us statistics that 60% of all the SMEs have had their loans restructured in the last 5 years. Which tells you that some of them SMEs sometimes go through trouble. What trouble do they go through? It's the way they are structured. Through no fault of theirs, sometimes, if you are running a business, through no fault of theirs. And I'm going to take my time to walk you through in the next maybe 6-7 minutes. Now, first point is to admit that you are dead broke, and if you're not careful, your business is going down. But having debt itself is not the end of the world. It's how you can pull yourself out. So pulling yourself out is an admission that there's a crisis. You have crisis. Because sometimes some SME operators, when they have crisis, they don't even say it. But to admit, once you admit, then you do a compilation of the debt. First point, who are you owing and how much is it? Don't only remember the persons or the companies that are calling you and giving pressure. All debt is debt. And therefore, put number down, get your red pen, because it's debt. That's why I'm encouraging you to get a red pen. And then you write it boldly. The name of the person, how much you are owing, the frequency of repayment. I take it again. Take a pen, red pen, of course, the name of the company or the person that you are owing, the frequency of repayment, and the amount involved. So when you compile all, please don't leave anything out. Just compile it all. So you can either start with the savings and loans bank that you had borrowed from, the microfinance company that you have borrowed from, whether it's being managed by your cousin, your family member, just write it down. A key supplier to your business, also, you may be owing that supplier. When that supplier cuts the blood flow, you will lose money. You will lose business. So put the name down. So everything that matters, just compile it. And then put a frequency down also. And how much you are supposed to repay them. When you put them down, then you pause for a while. Total it. When you add them up, it will give you a certain bulk amount. Then you go to the ideal point, which is the frequency of repayment to the person. There are some debts that you have to pay one-off. There are some debts that you have to pay monthly. And there are some debts that you have to pay bi-monthly, every 2 months, or by quarter. So you just compare them. Now look at the figure. When you compare them, the one-off, in other words, those people didn't give you terms. So the one-off amount, you put it there. And then the monthly one, you put it there. And then the quarterly one, you put it there. That's the first point that I will encourage you to do. That's the first compilation. The second most critical point is that where are you going to get the money from to service this debt? Naturally, you are not making enough. That's why this figure is piling up. And therefore, where are you going to get the money from? Don't lie about it. Don't lie about it. Just ask yourself, where am I going to get the numbers from? So if it's a service that you are providing, how much are you earning from that service? If it's goods that you are supplying or products that you are supplying, how much are you going to earn from it? When I say how much are you going to earn from it, because every services that you are providing or every goods that you are supplying, there is some base cost attached to it. So when you are doing this exercise, just take the net. Because when you take the gross, you will miss out debt repayment again. So how much quarter are you making out of it? And that figure comes there. So assuming for the purpose of this podcast, you compile it and you realize that there's a monthly payment of 20,000 cedis that you're supposed to pay people. You spread it. Now, when you look at it, 20,000 cedis, which you have to create or generate every month. So look at the net. Now, when you look at the net, it means that if on average you are selling goods or products or services and you make maybe sales of 80,000 and the cost of that particular sales of 80,000 is maybe 60. So technically, what will be left with you to service the debt is 20. There's no breather. Sometimes when you analyze it, you notice that what is left in your hands is 15. It is 10. It is 5. Means that you are not generating enough to pay the debts as and when they fall due. You are not generating enough. So here is a trick. It is a matter of you admitting and then saying that I'm not generating enough. So you have two schools of thought. Either you accelerate your generation capacity, meaning that you're going to do quick fixes and do more to get more to service them, or you will try something I call asset stripping. Maybe you may have certain assets of the company, 4 cars, 2 cars are not being used. You can offload it, you can sell it. This time, I'm not going to encourage you to go and say, okay, let me do sale and lease back and all those ones. Not yet, because you are in crisis and you want to come out. So you don't want to take a decision that will create a debt for you in future. You want to come out first. So look at it and say, I cannot service it. However, I can do some asset sale. I can sell some things. If you can, sell it. The SS1, sell it. Then, when you have this net cash flow coming to you, you then will arrange to start your negotiations. So, if it cannot be monthly, but you are making a monthly net of 20,000, you then can say that, okay, this particular group of persons, I'll pay them every other month. So yours is January. Another group will be February. The one who received January, the next payment will be March. We have the tendency of saying that, oh, don't worry. Oh, don't worry, I'll pay. Don't worry, I'll pay. What tends to happen is that you will use A's money, which is due, to pay B, which is not due, because the person gives you pressure. You haven't solved the problem. You've deferred the problem. And I don't want you to defer the problem if you're SME. So once you compare that, then the negotiation starts. So you arrange to negotiate with them. When you're doing this negotiation, a friend will say, don't go to the person you are owing more with your flashy car. Don't. Because you don't have it. You are doing arrangement. So you do this calculation nicely. You get some accountant to put in a cash flow form if you can, or you yourself can arrange it next month, next 2 months, and you put them in the group. It will give you some leverage. Then you go into some negotiation. Before you go to a negotiation, you do a small letter to say, admittedly, you've been of help to my company in the last 4 years. Unfortunately, because of certain crisis that my supplier refused to supply me, or my payment that is due from this contractor, service providers, they are not bringing it. I have a letter to that effect. But I'm committed to service. But what is different is that the payment terms that I was committed in the past to pay you in 2 weeks' time, but I don't have it now. But I've done some arrangements on spread, so I can pay you in 6 weeks, in 6 weeks' time. And that gives you a certain leverage. Where you don't tell them the challenges that you are going through, and you only explain yourself away when they have approached you, when they are desperate looking for their money, you won't get a restructuring exercise. Trust me, by the time you pay the first month, the second, and the third one, you can't even go back, because now you've maintained your credibility. And that is key. Once you start negotiation, that's key. Even big companies, they go through negotiations because businesses are set up for foreseeable future. It's not for tomorrow. It's for foreseeable future. So it's the negotiations that will keep you happy. One of the things that you must do as SME, when you are doing restructuring exercise, you are negotiating to service people slowly and calmly. That's not the time to be out there to making noise. Because you've already told the people you are paying that you do it this month. That's not the time that you'll be involved in other expenditure coming. That's not the time. Because people are keeping their eyes on your business once you start the restructuring exercise. So any small thing you do, as SME especially, things that, in fact, around that time, when you are even invited to a party, you can go, but stay back. Don't let you be seen as jamming and dancing. You know how we are, human beings are. Once you are owing the person and they see you at the wedding, jamming and all those ones, say, look at this guy. He's owing me. He hasn't paid me, but yet he's jamming. That small thing alone, tomorrow morning you get a call. You ask you that, Jack, Misikano, Dabena Betia. Not that he can't wait to, but he just mere fact that he's seeing you jamming. It means that you're not worried about his debt. This is how we are. And therefore, restructuring, negotiating yourself out of that debt is very key. Once you start servicing nicely, nobody, and I mean nobody, would worry you, because every supplier or every service provider will appreciate that you are making an effort. You can start with the bank, come to key suppliers, and negotiate nicely. Keep your eyes on the ball. Don't commit new liability during the period of negotiations. And I'm sure by the time you go through these particular things, people will appreciate that you are good and they are good. Till I come your way next week, this is Uncle Charlie on Money Moves. Please, please, please like it, share it, and I'll come your way again. Thank you.